Django, have you always been alone? Django, have you never loved again? Love will live on, life must go on, for you cannot spend your life.
We will talk about the slave ship shoes in the United States in the 19th century and how it influences the American modern society nowadays with the racist problem. With that in mind, we will make a film review about the movie Django of the director Quentin Tarantino and how it shows something that at the same time is part of history and of the present. We will begin talking about the main characters and their importance to understanding what does Tarantino is trying to say with this movie. Dr. King Shoes was a dentist, but had left the profession to become a bounty hunter, delivering their target living or dead. In the film, he buys Django to get his help in another work, that was to kill three brothers, owners of slaves, and Django knew the brothers. After that, he helped Django to find his wife, that was on the farm of Calvin Candy, a grain slave owner.
Calvin Candy was a rich farmer, owner of hundreds of slaves, which has one of the largest plantations of cotton in the South. He ends up being the owner of Brunhilde, Django's wife. In the middle of the movie, Django and his friend, Dr. Schultz, made up a plan to rescue her. They pretend to be slavers, recently entering the business of black slaves' struggles. Calvin Candy was a fanatic supporter of black struggles, making slaves fighting to their deaths. The cruelty of these fightings showed the public the monster that Mr. Candy is and makes everyone hate that character. The brilliant performance of Leo DiCaprio make this character become even more convincing at acting as a white racist in the period. When he dies, it happens in a way that makes the public feel good and revenged. The suffering of slaves is so close to reality that it's like if you was there at that time, at that racist society, and you can't do anything to avoid that to happen. In this scene, for example, we can see how he treats his own slaves when they try to run away. He feeds the dogs.
You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Django was a slave working in a farm with his wife, but when they try to escape, they are both captured, tortured, and whipped. After that, they were separated. One day, walking in the middle of the forest with his owner, a man named Dr. King Shoes came to buy it, and its purpose was to kill three brothers in exchange for reward, but he needs the Django's help because he knew the three brothers. From there, Django started to working as a bounty hunter and with Dr. King Shoes, and both shared the rewards acquired during the winter. But the primary purpose of Django was to rescue his wife with the help of Doctor that had given to his freedom. During the film, Django assumed a role of hero because he was a slave and it became a bounty hunter, and his job was to kill white people who had committed crimes and was even rewarded for it. The sudden change of his paper demonstrated a clear sense of revenge by Django that began to kill white men as before, enslaved and tortured him. Another achievement that earned Django the role of hero was the fact that he saved his wife from a large slave owner named Calvin Candy, who was well known as feared by slaves. With this, we saw that Django's revenge represented a collective feeling of black people who have suffered from racism and slavery, symbolizing oppression and violence by white people.
Steven was a black old man that works inside a big house at Candyland. It is not clear if he was a slave or not, but we can know one thing for sure. He hates black people, and maybe he's even more racist than other white people. He also enters in Django's path to freedom, trying to avenge his master, Mr. Calvin, who gets shot in the head. He captured Django and sent him to work in the mines. Django also makes his way to freedom again, and he returns to Candyland to finish his revenge. Steven ends up killed by Django in the end, by 2 shots in the knees and a big explosion that destroyed the entire house. In a larger view of the movie, we can conclude that Steven's function was maybe to show that we cannot make a big generalization of everything at that historical context. We need to be over the common sense that says that every white people was oppressor of black people.
Quentin Tarantino is a very famous movie director that has some very peculiar characteristics. One of the main things that made his great is the perfect combination of ironic scenes with some scenes of humor and exaggerated violence. He always shows a lot of blood, and it somehow makes his story even better. Tarantino in most of his movies creates a hero, which represents a collective group, and this hero always looking for revenge. And when he gets it, it feels great to all the public who is watching the movie. In Django Unchained, for example, the main character represents the black population of the United States.
Along the entire soundtrack of Django film, we see how each part fits what rushes in the film, such that when the Django is free, or somewhere that is cold.